Oh, got him. There we go. Okay, so the sun has just cracked the horizon and the wind is already puffing. But that's not a bad thing because today we're chasing southern bluefin tuna. It's summertime, although it's not actually that warm. However, the great thing about the summer bluefin tuna is they love to get up on the surface and mill around, and whether they're warming up in the sun or feeding, who knows what, quite often they're not busting up, but they are there. There's generally lots and lots of birds out there. There's mutton birds and a few albatross and bits and pieces, but it's the mutton birds that give away where the fish are. And one of the best ways to catch yourself a southern bluefin tuna during these warmer months is to cast at them, just like you would for longtails up north and yellowfin and other tuna species. And this is sort of no different. They can be very, very fussy, so it pays to have a few different lures on the go. But today the main focus is all about poppers. So poppers are a surface lure that makes a big commotion. You hear a lot about them, you know, for GT fishing and all those sorts of species. But let me tell you, tuna love them as well, and it's quite interesting how they will eat a popper and they won't eat other smaller lures, but they'll go for this thing that's got a big commotion and all this sort of carry on. I've got a heap of lures in here, but when it comes to poppers, sort of two styles to basically break it down. You've got your big cup face ones like these guys here. So they've got that big cup on them. They grab a lot of air when they're on the surface. So they're on the surface, they grab air. When you rip the rod, they dive under, they wriggle, they leave this big bubble trail, and it puts all this noise and commotion in the water. So you've got that big cup there like that. That sort of rear taper through here helps to carry the bubbles along behind the popper. They obviously make a big splash as they go. The other style of popper that you can always look at, and one that seems to work very well on these tuna when it's calm, is something with a smaller cup. So something like that Rooster popper there, as you can see, he's got a smaller cup compared to these other ones. He's not going to grab as much water. He's got more of a sort of splash when he goes across the surface rather than a big boof. All right, he's still got that rear taper behind the lure head there, so that carries the bubbles. And if the fish are being fussy, maybe a smaller splash can do the job on the day, but some days they want the big splash. So as I said, it pays to mix it up. Color-wise, it's really up to you. You can go your natural patterns like this, you can go bright, redhead, anything you want. But for now, we're going to head offshore, and hopefully this wind's not going to get up too much. We've got about a 15-kilometre run to the area where the tuna are sort of holding, and then we're going to see if we can cast around and get ourselves a few bites on this sort of stuff, because it is loads of fun. Let's get to it. This is exactly what we want to see. That's just a stack of tuna, just all sitting down 20 to 40 metres. Oh, got him. There we go. That has been a lot of casts to get that. I would hate to think how many tuna I've thrown lures at. And it was interesting. The school was over there. That sort of moved and I just waited, and this was just all blind. There was nothing really going on there, but there was just 2 or 3 birds still sitting. And I thought there's probably still a fish there, and he might be one of the ones that's mopping up the bait fish that got, you know, killed while the main school was feeding. And whatever it is, whatever the theory, it worked. I'll take that. And this outfit here is exactly the same one that I use for my snapper and gummies and kings. 8000 Stradic saltwater series on the Terez, 20 to 50 pound. It's just such a versatile outfit. You could catch fish all around the country with this. Spanish mackerel up north, snapper down here, tuna, kings, you name it, it'll do it. There's the fish. There we are. He's a nice one. He smashed that popper. He has inhaled it. I think we've got him this time. we've got him. All right, he's got a bit of weight about him. Okay. Open the bail. Chuck that in the holder. Okay, let's get sorted. All right, settle down, bud. Settle down, and we'll get you out and get you back in the water. Oh, that's a nice fish, that one. Look at that. That's a really nice bluefin. Look at how fat he is. Heaps of weight. Good size. Really good summer fish. Now I'm gonna have to quickly get these hooks out so we can send him back. There we go. All right, there we go. No mucking around. He's off. And look at this. This is why they're being so difficult to catch. That is the size of the bait that these fish are feeding on. Tiny, tiny little white bait. How do you throw something that matches that? And they're literally just swimming around the surface, a lot of the time just mouth open, just charging through like that. And they'd just be gulping down mouthfuls of these, not individually picking fish off. So that is why the fishing's a bit tough. Anyway, let's go get another one. Look at that, that's the popper. Just that rooster popper. It's funny that they'd eat that when that's the size stuff that they're chasing. Fishing for bluefin during the warmer months certainly is different to fishing for them at other times of the year. But it's not just limited to casting surface lures. Trolling, as always, is a very effective method for targeting tuna. So a couple of days later, I headed out to the same area to go trolling. At this time of year, the fishery, as I said, is different, and divers seem to be the key for these fish. So as always, you want to mix it up a little bit. So the thing I like to run is a nice deep diver like this. That's the Xrap. It's just a 15. That guy there, you can get the 20 or the 30, but the bait's pretty small at this time of year, so it's worth having a smaller lure out. The other one is the Halco Laser Pro, and that king brown color just catches fish all around the world. I don't know why, but it just catches them. It's such a good color. And with these, what we've got one lure that dives deep, one that runs shallow, and then adding to that, we'll run just a little skirt as well, and you still catch plenty of fish on skirts. So just something small like that little jet setter there. He's an absolute ripper. Little metal head, jets in him, all that sort of stuff, leaves a bubble trail. And as I said, it's mainly divers that get eaten, but skirts also get eaten, so you want to mix it up. Anyway, let's get out of here. We'll go find some birds and some bait, because there's generally plenty of life out there, and hopefully there's a few fish. So a good tip here is when you're trolling, if you get a bite or a fish, make sure you get that lure back in the same spot. And what I've got here is the Xrap in that corner. It's back about 25 meters. That's pulling the deepest. Then on this side, I've got the Laser Pro, which is only running about, 2 meters deep maybe, really shallow. And then out the back, we've got a little tiny skirt. So we've got deep, medium, and then surface. The bonus to doing this, right, and this one's at say 25 meters, this one's at about 30, 35 meters, that one's at about 40 meters. The bonus to doing this and having them staggered is I can turn as sharp as I want, because I know that that Xrap's going to go under the Laser Pro and the Laser Pro is going to go under the skirt. So if I want to turn 90 degrees, I can. I'm not going to get a tangle, and that's a really helpful thing. Obviously, if you're running two lures the same depth, try and stagger them a little bit, but be a little bit more careful on your turn so you don't, get a tangle or a cross up. Right, there we go. What I'm going to do is just keep us going forward, keep these lines tight, and if all goes well with this, I'll loop the boat around, we'll point the boat down sea, and this is a good trick. By pointing the boat down sea, we're going to drift, you know, with the wind, and it'll keep the other lines out the back, and I might not even need to pull them in, which would be very handy. A few head shakes, just let him do his thing. He really burned himself out after that first run, this guy, that's for sure. We're getting close now, we're into the red braid. Tuna do this anti-clockwise circle, and you just got to be patient. Wait till they pop to the top. Don't try and take a deep gaff shot or a net shot. When he's done, you'll know. Here we go. In the net. Job done. There we go. Nice. Love it when a plan comes together. Now, I'll just quickly take that off, ratchet on, reel in free spool, chuck that over there. Let's see how we go. And there you have a classic summer school bluefin tuna. They get so much bigger than this, but I'm happy with that to kick the morning off. Right. Hook out gun or pliers always helpful because you're getting the hooks out much easier and less chance of you putting a hook into yourself. There you go, that's the lure. Xrap 15, green mackerel, great lure. And as I said, these summer fish they just love a bit of green at this time of year. To shoot him back, best thing to do is just spear him in. Job done.